quick Amtrak train ride, and we are in East Lansing, Michigan, home of Michigan State University. And today is going to be more of an experimental photographic day. I have with me a couple of things. I have my Mamiya C220 twin lens reflex medium format camera. And I brought a number of different film stocks with me today to try out, including some Plus-X Pan. I have some Washi F experimental film that is probably what we're going to use today. So we're going to continue on and see what we can find interesting today to photograph. This probably is not the best camera angle for this, but I think this is a nice scene for that Washi F film. The Washi F film is an experimental film from actually the world's smallest film company. They have it listed right there. And the Washi F is actually a kind of an X-ray type film that produces a very, very unique image. The film company is so small they don't even make their own backings for their film. It's kind of interesting. You open this up and this is a 120 film, but they've rolled this on the backing for Portra 800 film. But really it is ISO 100 Washi style F film, black and white film on recycled 120 paper. So let's get this loaded into the Mamiya C220. As before, we simply open up the camera by sliding this lever to the side, and that will pop it right open. I've already moved the take-up spool to the top lever. This is this film that was in our last roll of film we shot, so that's right there already for us, and then we're all set with the Washi film. So we're going to tear this paper right here, lift her open, open her up, and put this roll in. Now, one thing we do have to watch out, this Washi F film does not have an anti-halation backing on it, so it can be susceptible to light piping. And what that is, that's kind of like fiber optics almost. The light is going to travel through that film, bounce around, and expose deep into the roll. That's because there's no anti-halation or no anti-reflection backing on the film. But here, let's see if we can look at this a little closer. Here are our red dots. As we roll this through, there's going to be two black arrows, one that points each way on this, and we line that up with those dots. So as we come along, right to there, there's our dots right there. Verify we're set to 120, not 220 on the camera. Close her up quickly, just like that. And I turn this knob 90 degrees so that we're locked. And then we're set to 120 here. I'm set to single exposure here. And we're going to wind this and 120 film here for our counter. And then we're going to wind this through until we stop at frame number 1. And there we are, frame number 1. Using our LightMeter app as before, we're going to measure the light on the scene. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change the ISO on this to 100, which is what the ISO is on that film. I'm going to point this at our scene and then take a measurement. My scene is right over here. I've got the, looks like a storm sewer drain going into the water. I'm going to line that up on my LightMeter app, set at ISO 100, and I'm going to press my button. And I want to shoot with the lens wide open, which is f2.8, so that puts me between 125th and a 250th of a second. And I always like to overexpose my film a little bit, so I'm going to shoot this at f2.8 at 125th. One thing about these waist level viewfinders is they do reverse everything left to right. So when I turn this way, it goes the opposite way in my viewfinder. So it takes a little bit, if you're not used to it, to get your framing set up the way you want. So f2.8 at 125th of a second. There is our first exposure. Let's see if there's anything interesting down this way. I actually think the Brompton itself would make a nice subject. What an absolute find I've just come across here on the MSU campus in this bridge underneath with all this graffiti. We need to turn around so you can see what I'm about to see right here. These different structures, whatever these are called, for the bridge, and how this supports everything, and then just the layering with a medium format camera with that shallow depth of field and that wide aperture. Maybe we could have something special here. Let's see, it's going to take, we're pretty dark here, at least another 2 f-stops to try to get something out of this. We've got quite the dynamic range, and my plan is to be focused on the graffiti. Again, we'll see what kind of image we get with this type of X-ray film. I've used up that roll of Washi F, and we've done a couple of street portraits of folks, and I had this great idea. Now I've switched over to the Kodak Plus-X Pan, which is an ISO 125 film, almost the same thing. We're here on Grand River Avenue, and what I thought I would get, I'm in a bus stop, you can see, in the middle of the street, and because we're on a college, a lot of people ride their bicycles by, so I thought I'd get the classic bicycle riding shot that's blurred, and we pan with the bicycle so we can blur the background. What's going to make this doubly difficult is that on a waist level viewfinder camera, such as the Mamiya C220, all your motions are reversed. So left, it's just like looking in a mirror. Left is right and right is left. So as I try to pan this, everything is going to be backwards from what I expect it to be. Let's see how we do. I've already missed one shot where I forgot to cock the shutter. You have to cock the shutter every time. Missed it. I missed that one. I forgot to cock the shutter again. What a moron I am. Here comes another one. Shutter's cocked this time. So there we have our excursion to Lansing, Michigan and Michigan State University, some experimental stuff with that Washi F film, some street portraiture, and one of the classic street photography subjects, the moving bicycles. What did you think about a trip like this? Let me know in the comments below if you want to see more excursions like this, more street photography, or more experimental black and white photography. To scan those negatives in so you could see them on this video, we used my homemade Gonzo-style do-it-yourself negative scanner. And if you want to know more about this homemade negative scanner, I've got a video linked right here for you. If you're curious about that Mamiya C220 camera, I've got a great video right here for you that's a complete walkthrough of that entire camera. If you're interested in that LightMeter app, I've got a video right here, and there's something else you should see, and that's a video linked right here. I'm James Fisher. This is Vintage Insight Photography. Thanks for coming along.